Hey fellas, so today I'm bringing you the first of some new content I want to introduce to my channel. I've decided to branch out and start doing mainly commentary-based gameplay. To talk about video games, video game news, stuff along those lines. So I just wanted to get that out of the way before we get into today's topic and what I'm going to be talking about. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. Oh boy, what an interesting week it's been for Zelda fans. Now, I wanted to talk about some Legend of Zelda content, and seeing as this is one of my first videos, I figured I'd look up some Zelda news. And if you're like me, and you live under a rock when it comes to Zelda news, you would probably be a little shocked to hear about this. So, it turns out that Nintendo was actually working on a Netflix Zelda series, but because someone had apparently talked about it beforehand, Nintendo had shut it down before it got off the ground. I have an article that I found, and I'll be reading through it to essentially give you guys more details, so I'll pull that up in just a moment. But this was honestly kind of a shock, and I wasn't expecting it, to say the least. Alright, so it says here, this story is 6 years in the making, and it involves Zelda, Star Fox, Another Fox, College Humor, Netflix, Nintendo, and Adam Conover. Let's get into it. In February 2015, Wall Street Journal reported that Nintendo was putting together a live-action adaptation of the Legend of Zelda series for Netflix, described as a Game of Thrones for a family audience. The information came from an anonymous source close to the project. Other outlets covered the report too, but a Zelda Netflix show had never materialized. So to put it simply, Nintendo was working on it, but there was just no news covering it whatsoever, because in typical Nintendo fashion, they keep most things as much under wraps as humanly possible. The next part reads as follows. On February 1st, 2021, a YouTube channel called The Surf Times published an interview with Adam Conover of Adam Ruins Everything, wherein Conover drops some gossip from his time at College Humor in the 2010s. Twitter user @SuperFerogatory first called out the juicy bits. Apparently, College Humor was planning a claymation skit combining Star Fox and Fantastic Mr. Fox, and Zelda creator Shigeru Miyamoto even came to the office to talk through the details. According to Conover, the project was cancelled about a month later, and he asked his boss what happened. Conover recalled his boss saying, "Oh, someone at Netflix leaked the Legend of Zelda thing, they weren't supposed to talk about it, Nintendo freaked out, and they pulled the plug on everything. They pulled the plug on the entire program to adapt these things. So the live-action Zelda Netflix series was actually real." Let that sink in for a moment. Now, to surprise no one, Nintendo is notoriously protective of its IP and doesn't easily lend out its franchises to third parties, which is the reason the Zelda Netflix rumors were such a big deal. According to Conover, the Netflix leak pushed the company further into its shell. There's a hungry audience for video game-related content on Netflix, as demonstrated by the Castlevania, Resident Evil, Sonic animated shows, and the Witcher live-action and animated series. With the 35th anniversary of Zelda coming up this year, it'd be fitting for Nintendo to give Netflix or any other streaming device another chance. We'll believe it when we see it, though. So, as you can see, Nintendo is very much protective of their own IPs. Now, while I am a little irked to hear about this, I can also understand there's many reasons you'd want to protect your IPs. From making sure someone doesn't steal it, to making sure people don't write it in the wrong vein. Because this isn't the first time Nintendo's reached out to make a video game related show or movie. Anyone remember the Mario Bros. Movie? Yeah, that might be why they're very hesitant right now. But I think the idea of them shutting down a whole project over a reveal leak just doesn't make much sense to me. Because if you look at it from an analytical perspective, this is a total win for Nintendo if they go through with it. Because not only would they be making a really good show, but they'd be getting a percentage of the revenue, because they own the Zelda trademark, they'd also get more exposure to the Zelda games, and it would most likely bolster not only Zelda game sales, but also Switch sales, if they're ever even in stores, of course, because we all know how possible it is to get a hold of a video game console right now, but that's besides the point. The point is, if this show was successful, it'd be an absolute win for Nintendo. Hell, it might even make us forget about some of the more interesting things that have happened over the past year with Free Melee and all. So, what do you guys think? Do you think it was smart of Nintendo to cut the project completely over one simple reveal leak? Or, like me, do you think it's just a bit strange? I don't hate them for doing this, but I also don't really understand it either. But I'd definitely love to hear what you guys have to say in the comments below. I always love to be open for debate, so I just wanted to get this out there real quick. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in either my next Let's Play or my next commentary video. It just depends on whichever I'd like to do first. So, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Peace out.